Good evening and welcome to the FITT Show. I'm Bobby Kinzer,
And I'm Thomas Doty.
and we are the FITT Show. Financial information for today and tomorrow, helping our people get their finances in shape. How are you doing today, Thomas Doty?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you, good brother?
I'm doing absolutely marvelous, and you look absolutely fantastic, my brother. I don't know what you're doing. Are you using some kind of cocoa butter or something? So, welcome you all. This is a show about providing as much financial education we can offer you, trying to help you build wealth, and even more importantly, help you create generational wealth. Now, we just need to give a disclosure that we are not financial advisors. We do not have any fiduciary responsibility. However, we do provide information. We don't try to sell you any products. I am a certified financial education instructor. Thomas Doty is an actual CPA and MBA graduate from the great Penn State University. We were just up there last weekend for a fellows retreat, which was always good. So last week's show was talked about financial rules of thumb. Hope that was very beneficial to you all. And this week, we're going to talk about things you need to know before you retire, or even when you are in retirement, because these things are very important. And we just want to share some of those things with you. Just a couple of house items. We want you to click on that like button as many times as you can, and please on the heart button because that gives us more exposure to more people. That's how it works here on especially Facebook. Also, want you to go out there and make sure you share on Facebook and want you to subscribe, have your friends subscribe on YouTube. It's a lot of information we try to provide. One of the things we like to do is make this interactive, and how we can make that interactive is by you placing comments in the comment box or any questions that you may have or any ideas of those you'd like for us to see, or you have an opinion on something we talk about, or there is a particular item that is of concern to you. And if we feel it's in the purview of the show, we would definitely try to cover. We try to answer all questions, and we appreciate y'all providing questions because, like I said, we like to make this interactive. And since we're in a virtual studio, the best way to make it interactive is for you to actually put comments in the comment box. So, with that, dope, let's go. What's any good news? Oh, I know. I don't want to say. We know that the presidential debate, comes on at 9 o'clock. So we're going to stop this a little bit before 9 for some of you all are interested in that circus show that it probably will be. So we want to give you time to do that. So in case you're wondering, we're going to get off a little bit, few minutes earlier than 9 o'clock to give you that opportunity.
Hey, Big Bob, don't forget, too, that next week's the holiday and we won't be around.
Oh, that's right. Since it's July 4th, we want to give everybody a break. So we will not be here next Thursday. That's next Thursday, correct, though?
Yeah.
July the 4th. Man, July is here already. Where did time go, though?
Monday's July 1st, man.
Wow, that's amazing. So with that, we like to start how we always start the top of the show is with this stock market and cryptocurrency review. Let's see what's happening here, dope.
And nothing really new or crazy to report. It was a pretty quiet week. The stocks I owned I had some good and some bad. You can see the S&P is pretty much flat. It's up just a little bit. NASDAQ's up almost a percent, which is always good. And the stocks that I follow continue to roll. Microsoft's up 7. Tesla had a big jump. Tesla jumped. There's a couple of reasons. On July 2nd, they're going to announce deliveries for the second quarter, for their second quarter. And they're expecting upwards of 400,000 deliveries. So if it's around 420,000 deliveries, it'll be okay. If it's anything less, you'll probably see a big drop in the stock. If it's anything more, you'll probably see a big increase. Apple's up 4 for the week. That's still residual from the big AI announcement. It's done pretty well the last month. It's gone up pretty good. Pfizer is still flat, but again, I'm getting a 6% dividend. That's what I tell myself. NVIDIA took a step back. I think there's some profit taking there. All the analyst reports are still good. And I saw one report that's expecting it to double by the end of the year. I'm not quite that optimistic. I will not be too terribly upset if it does, though. I hope it keeps rolling. And my Google is still rolling. It was up 9 points for the week. And as we always tell you guys, we are learning as we go. We don't profess to be experts. We do know a little bit about some things, and that's what we try to share with you. But I actually had a conversation with my financial analyst that I pay to manage the bulk of my funds, and my big question was to him was should I be looking to sell or looking to get out of Microsoft or NVIDIA? Those are my two biggest holdings. I got like 1,000 shares in NVIDIA and 400 shares of Microsoft, which is a nice hunk of change. And I was asking him, should I be considering selling that? And it's funny because he really doesn't give advice unless it's actually in the account that they manage for me. These are accounts that I manage myself. But he did point me to something I already knew about, and that's the companies or Fidelity's rating of those companies. And they are all excellent. Microsoft, the scale is 1 to 10, and 1 means company's about to go under. 10 is as strong a buy number as you can have. And so Microsoft was like a 9.6. NVIDIA was, I think, a 9.4, wasn't it, Bob?
Yes.
Apple was a 9 point something. Tesla was almost a 0, which
Wow.
I know that's speculative. And Pfizer was pretty low. Google was an 8 point something. And the way to look at that is anything over 6 is a positive, which means a buy. The closer it gets to 10, it's their indication that it's a pretty good stock. So I was happy to see that my Microsoft, Apple, NVIDIA, and Google were all rated highly by Fidelity's analytical staff. And I'm going to continue to hold. And as we always tell you, Bob always talks about an exit strategy. But the second question I ask is, what will I do with those funds if I do sell? And considering I'm sitting on a huge capital gain and would have some tax consequences, I'd have to have something that I want to buy that I think is better than what I have. And right now, I don't see anything better than those. So I'm going to stay where I am.
And I'd like to give a full disclosure statement here. Reason why we show these particular stocks is because we decided to use Doty's portfolio as just a benchmark. Now, we're not inferring or encouraging anybody to buy these stocks. That's on you. You have every freedom, but we're not trying to influence you to buy these stocks, but we're just trying to give you an idea on how the market has been. And we've been doing this show over 2 years now.
Yeah, and real quick, let me just show, if we look at a 2-year period for Microsoft, 2 years ago, Microsoft was at 256. Okay, 2 years ago it was at 256 when we started the show. Right now it's at, what did I say, 452 or
453?
453. Tesla, 2 years ago, it was actually higher. That's one of my losers. It was at 228, and now it's at 197. Apple, 2 years ago, was at 139, and now it's at 214. And Pfizer, that's my other killer. 2 years ago was at 60, and it's now at 28. NVIDIA 2 years ago, believe it or not, was at 15. Okay. And now it's at 124.
And that's deceptive because it actually went up to $1,200 before they split.
No. That's the split price. 12
Right.
is the split price. So
Right.
it was at 12 and or that. So you take a tip from, okay. With me?
Yes. Yeah, you kind of breaking up. You kind of breaking up.
I don't know why. 2 years ago it was at 12. Then okay, and now it's at 124, was 1,240 pre-split, but it's the same relationship. And finally, Google 2 years ago was at Google is hard to figure out. I'm sorry, Google 2 years ago was at 109, okay, and now it's at 180. What is it about 187? So those are stocks that and again, I don't profess to be a guru. I just went out and tried to buy good stocks, and they've all done quite well for me in this 2 year period since we've been doing the show. And again, we aren't recommending. This is just what I do, and based on the philosophies that we talk about, this is I've done okay. I've done okay.
And like you said, we were just using this as a benchmark to show you, and this is a perfect example of diversification. And these are individual stocks, different than if you had a mutual fund or exchange traded funds, which would have more of a variety within there. But this just shows you by using asset allocation, diversification. Like Bill said, he has some winners and he has some losers, but overall, he is really up. And that's the case, once again, of showing diversification. So we just wanted to share that with you because we just not talking to talk. We walk to walk, you know what I mean? We're not just trying to tell people, to do things that we don't do ourselves, and like I said, it's not that we profess to be any experts or gurus, but it just goes to show you with a little bit of effort, a little bit of research, a lot of bit of patience that you can really, really amass a good financial nest egg for you in the future. And we hope you all are getting that message and that some of you all are going out and shoring up your financial future because we don't know that who's going to get into office. We don't know what the economy is going to do. We don't know what inflation is going to do. And we don't know with world turmoil, wars, climate change. We don't know. And all those things, believe it or not, all those things can affect your finances. I'm talking about what's going on in the courts, Supreme Court. All those things have an indirect effect on your finances. Some of them are indirect and some of them are direct. So it's so important that you take the time. You take 2 years to plan a trip. You take 2 years to plan a wedding, but we take less than an hour sometimes to plan our finances, even if we do that. So that's our message while we're here. We're not trying to browbeat you. We're just trying to educate you. And that's really our whole purpose here. So let's talk about cryptocurrency market. DOT is taking a hit. The cryptocurrency market has been going down for the past few weeks. And as you can see, the Bitcoin was at 64,000 last week. Now it's $61,476, down $3,476. And it's gotten all the way up to 70, and that's 5% down. And all of them are down. Oh, except I take that back. Except Solana. Solana's up $16. That's up 13%. Interesting cryptocurrency, that's Solana, because it's at number 5. It came down from way outside of 10. And we try to just stick with the top 10 there's over, man, it's about, up now it's over 20,000 cryptocurrencies, but I think it's only 9,000 that are active, that are actually active. But the Dogecoin, which a lot of people follow because of Elon Musk and Mark Cuban, it dropped down again from the ninth place to the 10th place. Even though it went up 1 cent, it dropped down its rating. So we just like to share that with you for those people who are interested in the cryptocurrency market. And as we always say, it's all about the long term. And, make sure if you are invested in the cryptocurrency that you're only investing in money that you can afford to lose. And that's a oxymoron, right? Who can afford to lose any money? But that's the take on cryptocurrency. So, Doe, let's get into our topic today, which is things you need to know before you retire or even after you retire.
Yeah, and you can, this whole thing can build a whole lot of stress trying to get ready for what's going to happen later in life. And but these things, some of the things we're going to talk about can kind of make sure you're on the right road. It's crazy difficult planning for retirement because of all the variables, the change in tax laws, the Medicare, the required minimum distributions. It's just a lot. And so, and there's also a lot of uncertainty involved. No one knows, as Bob mentioned, who's going to be president, what's the political environment going to be after that, or 4 years from now, 8 years from now, 12 years from now, or 20 years from now. So it can be very difficult to make sure that what you want to happen. But all you can do is do the best you can and plan based on the information you have. And you won't really know if all the calls you made are right until you get there. But you can only control what you can control. So trying to make decisions or financial plans for 20 years down the road, it's going to be difficult to do. We realize that. But again, there are some things you can do to handle the things you can control and make sure your golden years are stress-free and filled with wealth.
So, though, many Americans are really feeling uncertain these days. According to the Employee Benefit Research Institute, they have a survey they did in 2023 called the Retirement Confidence, and it says only 18% of workers and 27% of retirees feel very confident they will have enough money to live comfortably throughout their retirement. In many years working with financial advisors and talking to those nearing retirement that I found out, what I've learned a lot about what works and what doesn't. Through these experiences, I gathered insights they may find, that many find out too late. It's, a lot of times it's too late before people tend to act. As you prepare for retirement, we're going to talk about a few crucial items, that we've learned that people wish they've known sooner. So before we get into it, I just want to give also another disclaimer. We get our information from a lot of different places. One of the main places we like is Kiplinger, and you can go out there, kiplinger.com. It's free and get a lot of information. It's great there. And today we use a lot of information from there, but we use information from Apple News, Smart News, all types of outlets and information sources. But just want to give that disclaimer. So, Doe, let's kick it off with one of the first things, insights that a person.
Well, and the first thing is if you can have a good, trustworthy financial advisor, that's going to put you on the right path to making sound decisions, because we always talk about how difficult and how many different variables involved and how these things change. And you need somebody to stay up on those in order to make sure you are aware, because there's no way you can study everything yourself and know all the different things that could affect your finances. And so many people do it based on a friend or somebody they heard. And they may be good, but they may not be good for you. So you've really got to find somebody that's going to work for you, that can handle all the aspects of your financial activities. That's tax and cash flow planning, knowing, helping you work through your budget, helping you with your plans and estate planning and all those sorts of things. And hopefully they won't try to push their products as opposed to the ones they work for, but they'll try to really work on your behalf. And we always talk about making sure you have someone who's a fiduciary, which means their decisions are based on what's best for you as opposed to what's best for them. And you won't get into paying a whole lot of unnecessary fees. And so a sound financial advisor is going to help you stay on course by keeping you from panicking when things go bad, and kind of serving as a sounding board, even if things are good, to make sure you stay on track, that you have a plan and you know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's very good advice, though. Next thing I like to hone in on is, and this is a misconception though that a lot of people have. You don't need a big income to start saving and investing. Now, a common roadblock many face is the belief that don't earn enough to start investing for retirement, or even a small amount. If you don't have that much, it doesn't matter. This misconception can lead to missed opportunities, especially when it comes to that can compound over time, just like the investments we forego. Now, the truth is, waiting to save because you anticipate higher earnings in the future is a gamble, on time that you really can't afford. And the compounding interest, the power of compounding interest, it means so much. It's consistent. Investments can snowball into significant sums over time. And I like to just give a small example. And this example, and I just sent this to my children today in a text for them to remind them. If you're investing $50 a month at 7%, which is pretty reasonable that you can get 77% these days. You almost can get that on a money market these days. You know, if you put $50 a month, 7% compounding annual return, it will grow over $23,000 in 20 years. Now imagine if you increase that amount as your income grows. Now, and furthermore, if you invest in a tax advantage account like a Roth IRA, which allows tax-free withdrawals in retirement, or just say a IRA traditional or 401k plan, which invests pre-tax dollars, you're effectively using tax savings to boost your retirement fund. In other words, money that would have gone to taxes is now working for you. And see, that's the key, you all. You want your money to be working for you. You don't want to be working for your money. I mean, we do have to do that's what compensation is called. So if you got a job, that's working for your money. But while we talk about investing, where it's passive income, where your money be working for you. And now don't forget the potential boost from employee matching in your 401k, which is essentially what? Free moolah. Even if your employee matches only 50% of your contributions up to a certain percent of your salary, this can significantly increase the growth of your retirement savings.
Yeah, Bob, that's a perfect segue into the next one. And you should be saving as much as you possibly can in your savings plan and getting the employee matches on your 401ks and such. But there's also something called the catch-up contribution, and that can be a game changer once you turn 50. And this goes back to the IRS allowing, once you turn 50, to put more money away for your retirement and with a tax break. And so for this year, if you're 50 and older, you can contribute an additional $1,000 to an IRA on top of the standard $7,000 limit. And again, that's a modest increase, but still, over time, if you're 50 and you're going to retire at 65, that $1,000 for 15 years can increase your retirement bucket by a large amount. If you're self-employed, you also can. They also increase the limits on those. But it's funny, despite all these incentives, only 16% of retirement savers actually make these additional contributions.
Wait a minute, though. How much is how much?
Only 16% of retirement savings makes catch-up contributions. Only 16%, which is just baffling to me. Okay, it's and I would like to see the numbers on the people who don't get the full matching from their employer.
That number's low too, though. By the way,
When you say low, you mean not a lot of people are doing it, which is
correct.
Again, that's baffling to me because that's not getting your full pay if you aren't taking advantage of that. So if you start making a maximum catch-up contribution at age 50 and you get a 7% annual return, you could increase your retirement savings by $97,000 by the time you reach 65. And again, that's not, life-changing, but if you got 100%, $100,000 and like interest rates at 4% now, let's say 4%, that's $4,000 a year you get just by having saved that much money, 300 something bucks a month extra. And believe me, when you retire, every little extra helps. Take it from me and Bob. That's for sure. And if you have a higher income for 2024, it's over 145,000. The advantage shifts to a Roth, and you could have to do a catch up through a Roth. And Roth contributions don't offer immediate tax returns or tax breaks, but they do promise tax-free growth, which can be extremely advantageous to have money, put money away, and never have to worry about having to pay tax on that money. And if you're really smart, you'll take that Roth money and you'll put it in something fairly aggressive. Remember, no risk it, no biscuit, because you have no tax implications at all.
Hey, though, let me tell you about this one, man. There is really a right amount of insurance coverage because a lot of people, one of the least talked about aspects of financial planning is balancing having just the right amount of insurance, not too much, not too little, and at each stage of your life. Because at each stage of your life, your need for insurance, it definitely varies. Now, throughout many people's working years, you could be paying for insurance that's unnecessary. These excess premiums can amount to a substantial sum over time. Now, how can you tell if your coverage levels are appropriate? Unfortunately, you are likely to get an unbiased evaluation from someone who profits from selling more insurance. And that's why you got to watch out because a lot of guys, not guys and women, are selling insurance because they're just trying to make money. Now, as retirement years, you're likely to be bombarded with pitches for life insurance and annuities. The biggest mistake you can make is letting the fear of insufficient retirement savings drive a decision to buy annuity that's complex and truly not appropriate. And I know somebody out here is listening today knows just what I'm talking about, feeling the fear of not having sufficient funds in retirement. You know who you are. Insurance offers are not investments. They are dense legal contracts where the critical information buried in the fine print is easily overlooked and many times misunderstood due to the complexities. And we're talking about when it comes to insurance and even healthcare insurance like Medicare too. Now, to navigate the insurance landscape, seek the counsel of an independent fee-only financial advisor. That means a person who doesn't sell insurance, to provide a comprehensive review of your family's insurance needs. They can help you determine the precise level of protection you need without the conflict of interest inherent in commission-based selling. Now, I'm not saying getting down on insurance agents, but like we always say, all things are not equal. All insurance agents are not equal. So be sure you make sure you understand what you're getting and you get the right amount, not too much and not too little.
Yeah, and the next one is one a lot of people shy away from, and that's the importance of having your affairs in order. I don't care what age you are. And estate planning is crucial for everybody, not just the wealthy. And people tend to think that it's only for the wealthy. And then the sooner you take care of it, the better. But so many people, I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about when you die. I know that's a tough one, but it's not just for death. When you think about healthcare proxies, power of attorneys, and living wills, and those types of things, if you think about it, like it's one of the things I'm working on, one for myself, but also pretty much for my two kids who are not married, is making sure we have a healthcare proxy on file, because if something was to happen to either of those, we couldn't legally make decisions for them. And so those are the kind of things you have to have straight. You have to have it taken care of. So in the one in a gazillion chance it happens, you're in position to do what needs to be done. And so that's one that if you take care of it now, it's one less thing to worry about when you retire.
Yeah, that's very key, though. That's very key. Now, you need to decide how you want to spend your golden years. Do we really stop and think about that? To start, like me and Doe always talk about, you gotta have a plan for how you want to spend your retirement. Do you dream of traveling the world or purchasing your dream home, a boat, RV? Developing goals for retirement can help you get an idea of how much money you need to save to achieve those goals. Now, making a bucket list can also be helpful. You might find you can start crossing off some of those lists during your working years, thus reducing the financial burden that you can face in retirement. So get started, you all. Dream big. Think about those golden years are coming, because they're coming. And remember, the more you keep working, the closer you get to that wall, which they call the end. So you want to make sure you leave some time to enjoy yourself.
And Bob mentioned this one earlier in the show, and it's it's worth repeating. Save early and often. I mean, it's obviously a key step, and if you don't do it, you'll hate yourself when you retire. And that's one of the first steps in anything you do. Is we always talk about paying yourself first, but a lot of people don't always do that. They end up spending more than they save, and for whatever reason, they don't start early and often. And as Bob mentioned earlier, you can start anytime. You should start right now with any amount of money, and look in your offers and start saving. No matter what amount, you want to have more a year from now than you have today. And the only way you can do that is to save. And it's pretty amazing once you start getting money away and you start making money while you sleep. When you get interest, you don't do any effort, and you wake up and you have more money than you did the previous day. But you don't get to do that unless you start saving early and often.
And this is a no-brainer, but it's interesting how we approach this next one, though. Taking care of your health. Now, a lot of times it's not at the top of your mind. Only when you get older, it seems like you think about it more. But you young people out there who don't think about it, maintain your health during your working years can help you and help your retirement. Now, check this statistic out, though. According to the Medicare Fact Report, 82% of respondents, 82% say they didn't prioritize their health during their working years. We're talking to y'all young people out there. carving out time to exercise, eating a nutritious diet, and developing healthy habits can, like I said, is a no-brainer. Obviously, reduce your risk of an illness later in life. Now, these illnesses may require you to undergo costly treatments to move into a long care facility, which can be expensive. And just listening to me, though, this can sound very morbid, but it's so important that we definitely focus on our health, you all, because being proactive about your health in the now not only increases your chances of longer life, but it can also help you save on, high healthcare costs as you age. Plus, it will increase your quality of your life now in the present.
Yeah, and last, just kind of going with what you said, Bobby, one of the famous quotes by Mickey Mantle. And young folks won't know who he is, but he's a legendary baseball player. And his comment was, if I knew I was going to live this long, I would have took better care of myself. And that's so true. And not making excuses for the older folks, but we didn't have the resources that are available now as far as things, what to eat, what not to eat. Like when we grew up, smoking was cool. It wasn't as taboo as it is now. And there was a lot less worry about what was in your food, what they were putting in your food. And it's a lot more information out there now, even as far as exercising. You can Google workouts to do. So you can get a lot of information. So there's really no excuse for not taking care of your health. And finally, the last one is consider finding other ways to make additional money, whether that's a side job or just finding other ways to make money, buying rental property, looking for ways to grow your wealth, using the skills you have to generate income. And that extra income can help you cover some of your expenses now. You can pay off some debt, or you can just put it all into your retirement fund to have one less thing to worry about when you do retire. But I'm sure everybody has some talent, some skills they can use to make additional money, as opposed to worrying about everybody's Facebook and Instagram status. You can take that time and put it to work making some more money.
Hey, though, on the health thing, right? Do you remember the old fitness guy, Jack LaLanne?
Oh yeah, I used to watch him.
Yeah, everybody, that was the fitness guru back in the 50s and 60s, right?
Mhm.
And he used to say stuff like, if it tastes good, spit it out. He said, no, he was profound. He said, if you can't lift it, you shouldn't eat it. So do you know what he mean by that? He said, if you can't lift up a pig, you shouldn't eat it. He said, if you can't lift up a cow, you shouldn't eat it. I mean, he had some profound stuff, but I'm telling you all.
Hey, Bob, and it's funny too, because I try not to eat a lot of red meat. I still like probably 2-3 times a week at the most, and I try to cut back. But it's so funny because when I say most Americans, eat meat for protein, and the animals we eat to get protein don't eat meat.
Right.
So it tells you how stupid it is that we eat animals who don't eat meat to get protein, where we can get protein from the same places they get protein. But it's just taking care of your health, and because you kind of grow up thinking, I want to eat foods that taste good, as opposed to eating foods that are good for you. And what's that other saying we always say about eat your food as medicine, so when you get old, you won't have to eat your medicine. And that is so true, that you can't just totally eat foods that are good for you, but that should be the predominant item that you eat.
When we look at it, though, just think about it, right? some of the most strongest animals in the world don't eat meat. Yeah, I mean, elephants. I mean, go down the line.
Yeah.
Baboons. Hippopotamus. Look, but though some of the most angriest animals eat meat, right? And the ones that don't eat meat, they seem to be more not vicious. So that should tell us something, man.
And Bob, I still remember I read that, probably everybody read this book back in the day, Dick Gregory's Cooking with Mother Nature.
Yeah.
He laid it out so well about the size of the digestive system of animals that eat meat compared to ours.
Right.
Theirs is much more, their bodies are made to eat meat. Our bodies are not. And it takes our bodies so long to digest it. Yeah, pretty much just stays in your body and rots and until you can get it out. And the other thing is our teeth. If you look at a lion's teeth versus our teeth aren't made to eat meat. It's just and we kind of got off the subject, but
no. Health is
trying to take it. Yeah,
you can have as much money that you can amass, but if you ain't healthy, what good is it to you? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And the last one, this is stuff I just want people to think about. First of all, mostly all Black folks are lactose intolerant. That is a fact. But isn't it ironic, though, that we are the only beings that drink other animals' milk and other animals
instead of our mothers? Yeah.
We don't never see no dog or no horses. I'm trying to say titty.
Please
No, I'm talking about milking, though. God, stop it. So I'm just saying, you all, we went to this health segment part because we want y'all to be healthy when you spend your money. So with that, though, I think I'm hurry and transition to the summary takeaways for tonight.
Because you don't want to tell them about the monumental thing we discovered this weekend. So let's get to the summaries and takeaways.
Hey, you are no good. You know that? You are low down, no good.
I love you.
No, you're not right. You know, good one. You're sick, dude. Excuse me. So I'm going to go first, though.
Okay.
Knowledge is power. I mean, look, you all, you don't have to know everything. And you only know what you know. But in this financial game, to enter into the financial mainstream, you got to have some knowledge. Don't be afraid to go out there and, like I said, read an article in Clippinger, read an article on Motley Fool, read an article in Afro-American newspaper, all you local people. Go out there and seek the knowledge, you all, because it makes it easier. And a lot of people just don't like to do the research, don't like to put the effort in to do this. Knowledge is the key, you all, to having financial success and becoming financial independent.
Yeah, don't underestimate the work required. And that's one that we've been talking about for a while, because once we start talking about it, we realize how much work is required.
It's work.
It's a lot of work, and because so many things change, and the more wealth you get, the more difficult it becomes because there's more things to worry about. Or I shouldn't say to worry about. There's more things to manage. So don't think you can ever put it on cruise control. Even if you hire someone, you have to be aware of your situation to make sure they're doing things that you want them to do. So there is some work required. Getting rich isn't easy.
Avoid the pitfalls. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about not enough insurance, not having your affairs in order, like we talked about, debt using you, credit using you. No budget, no plan, not staying on top of your investments. These are just a few of the pitfalls that can deter you from a happy retirement. So be conscious of it and avoid them.
And finally, get started, get going. I mean, stop putting it off. Create your budget, talk about your plan, start putting money away, do something systematic so you're saving constantly to get to retirement. Obviously, once you retirement, saving isn't as important, but you still have to do those things as far as staying on top of your finances. Get started doing that. Make sure you're diversified. Make sure your asset allocation is what you want. Make sure your risk tolerance, the things you are invested in, reflect your personal risk tolerance so you're sleeping well at night. Get started taking care of your financial life.
And with that, you all, we will give you some time to get out there if you're going to check out the debate. Thank you all for tuning in. This has been another informative session. Thomas Doty, thank you so much for being my brother on this task that we take every week. This is our 156th show. Like Doe said, we've been doing this over 2 years. I want to remind you, we won't be doing next Thursday because it's the 4th of July holiday. We want to give you all a break, but we will be back on the 11th of July. So stay tuned. Dope, this is my comment for this week. And I actually saw this one. It says, it makes so much sense. It said, you never lose. You either win or you learn. I love that. You never lose. You either win or you learn. With that, everyone, take good care of yourselves, and we see you in 2 weeks. And James Alexander has a comment here. He says, eating meat is eating dead animals. Think about it. How would one expect to have life in their life when putting death in your body? Oh, that was deep, James.
It's true, though.
No, very true. And it also reminds me of everybody, those people who want to get a rabbit's foot for good luck. And I'm like, did they ever ask the rabbit who had a talk about it? So with that, roll call. My sisters were on. My 3 sisters were the first on, Dope. But Noli got on first. Noli got on first. Then Gloria, and then Linda. Man, thank you. I love y'all so much. We meet once a month with our family, my 2 brothers and my 3 sisters, and it's just awesome. I love y'all so much. Thank you for supporting me on the show and telling other people, because I know your friends be on this too. So thank you so much. Modestine up down there in Lexington, South Kakalaki. What's up, Modestine? Thank you for tuning in. And Rodney L. Madison, Senior, the Note Experience.com. Rodney been telling me, Dope, that holding these mortgage notes are really picking up, man, and he's doing very well. And so if y'all want to know more about it, go out there on the noteexperience.com and check it out. And now, as always, thank you for supporting us now, being there for us. Appreciate you 1,000%. With that, Dope, signing off. We see y'all next week. No, 2 weeks from now. Same back place, same back channel. Have a good evening, you all. And
Peace.
Go Biden.